finishing our operation of Gimel Sif Aleph. So till now we spoke about the halachas of what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, and now we'll get into a little bit of someone did it be'isr. Someone did shehiyah be'isr, what's the halach? So going back a little bit in the Mechaber, we skipped it last week. The Mechaber says, V'shokach v'shah. If someone forgot, v'shah, and he left it on Shabbos, if it's a tafshel that was cooked already called tzarchai, mutir hafiluhu mitztamech v'yafalai. If someone forgot and he was over, according to the first sheet to now we're going in the Rabbanan, where you need mitztamech v'raloi. So according to that shita, if someone forgot it on the fire and it was not gar v'kotim, halacha is he's allowed to eat it. Hafiluhu mitztamech v'yafalai. That means even though he's gaining off it, he left something on the fire, he's not allowed to, and it was stomach v'yafaloi, he's enjoying it. Still, it's not called Ma'aser Shabbos, and he's allowed to eat it. Now we'll see in Shiur Ches, his whole suggestion there of Ma'aser Shabbos. If someone did something that's also to do on Shabbos, there's different halachas if he's allowed to be nana from it or not. He could, his family, other people, for how long, if it's till after Shabbos, on Shabbos. The beginning of Shiur Ches, which we'll get there, a lot of different halachas of if someone did something on Shabbos, what's the halacha? So here it says, M'shokach v'shah, and it's M'stamech v'yafaloi, then it's okay. Ve'im utavshos hitzchol is bashal v'loi bishal kol tzarchoi, aser. Now already it's aser. If it started cooking, it's ma'achal ben derusoi, but not as bashal kol tzarchoi. This person was over an iser d'Rabbanan, he left it on the fire Erev Shabbos, the halacha is aser, Ad Matzah Shabbos. Till Matzah Shabbos, you can't eat it. So here it doesn't say when after Matzah Shabbos. Right away, or B'chtei Shiyah, so we'll get to it in a second.
Is that considered the Baruch material?
Want to wait till after Shabbos?
Yeah. Is it in the same category?
So,
You already thought
no, no. The reason why I'm thinking is because you're jumping ahead. Meaning, you're coming to say, after it's Mutter Shabbos.
Is that what you're saying?
No. We're holding before that. We're creating the Isser. Now that we say it's Mutter Shabbos, right? It's Mutter Shabbos. Then there's a question. If that gets mixed in with something else, is it called Yechiel material? Now Yechiel material is when you have an Isser as a mutter in the future, it gets mixed up with something else. This is not mixed up with anything yet. We're holding the step beforehand.
No, but if it did.
If it did, there's a shaila in Semicha Ches. We'll get to the Kivega over there. There's a whole shaila, a big sugya, if it's called Yechiel material or not, because for me it's also for you it's mutter. We'll get to that in Shiur Ches. But we're holding way before that. We're creating the Isser now. We're saying it is also till Matzah Shabbos. You can't say the Yechiel material. What does it mean? Of course it's a material, Matzah Shabbos. And therefore what? If it gets mixed in with something else, but it's not mixed in now. So v'mishkal tzarchai also Matzah Shabbos. V'im'amar v'shiyah also b'shneim. If he went ahead and he purposely left it on the fire before Shabbos, halach is also b'shneihem. It's also even if it's mistamech v'yafaloi. Even mistamech v'yafaloi is also. Why? Because he did something wrong. So we're more machmer. So shokach v'shah u'mekel, that if it's mistamech v'yafaloi, it's mutter. Avar v'shiyah, if he did it b'mezid, then we're machmer, even mistamech v'yafaloi is also. What will be the halacha by mistamech v'raloi? Why? Oh, good. Fine. Testing them. Mistamech v'raloi is mutter l'chatchila to do it. So there's no issa. There's no issa done. So mistamech v'raloi is just testing. No, not because no I know. It's not the answer. I was waiting for him to say because no I know. It's not the answer. The answer is because it's mutter. Mistamech v'raloi, you're allowed to leave it Erev Shabbos.
Same thing would be with Chai.
Well, see, there must be some Mistamech v'raloi by Chazorah. That's something else. By Shehiyah, Mistamech v'raloi never comes up. Because Mistamech v'raloi is mutter by Shehiyah l'kul yama. So that's why we don't speak of Mistamech v'raloi now. So Shokach v'shah, the halacha is Mistamech v'yafaloi is also, is mutter, but Ava V'Shah is also. Haga ad b'chtei sheyasu. Till b'chtei sheyasu. B'chtei sheyasu means till after Shabbos, as long as it would take for this to happen. Meaning, if you put it on Machal ben Rasoi, it takes half hour for it to cook. So Motzei Shabbos, you have to wait a half hour to eat it.
So hold on, you have a chance, you usually put it on Erev Shabbos, and usually wait to eat it
If it takes 3 hours for it to cook, then you have to have Motzei Shabbos 3 hours.
Right, so you got to wait.
Yeah, if you put it on Shiur, it's a Shiur, Erev Shabbos, and it cooks on Shabbos, it takes 3 hours for it to cook, Motzei Shabbos, and you have to wait 3 hours. So now, what's the reason for B'chtei Sheyasu? The Bialacha brings down over here 2 reasons. B'chtei Sheyasu is really a sugya by Amir La'akum. We don't find that when a Yisrael is over and he does a Ma'aser Shabbos, we don't find anywhere a din of B'chtei Sheyasu. If Yisrael did a Ma'aser Shabbos, if it's mutter for Motzei Shabbos, we'll see when it is that way, but if it's mutter for Motzei Shabbos, we never find B'chtei Sheyasu. B'chtei Sheyasu is only by a goy. And we'll see why here in a second. So B'chtei Sheyasu says the Biur Halacha, it's on page Chaf Aleph in the Mishnah Berurah. Ad B'chtei Sheyasu, why? Kedei shelo yehena mimeleches Shabbos. That a person should not have hana from Meleches Shabbos. If you're going to be mutter to use it right away, Motzei Shabbos, you just gained. You did Melacha on Shabbos. Because if you would have to wait till after Shabbos to do that, it will take time. One reason. Parama Pered Gimel, not on a time, Kedei shelo yishtaker klum, v'lo yavei l'halkel pam acheres. Similar reason, a little different. He says you shouldn't gain. Well, Shabbos, you shouldn't come and do it a second time. So what's it?
Only a by goy. I mean, it's
yeah. So right. So the principle should apply by Yisrael also. Yeah. But the reason is because by Yisrael, we're not choshed to Yisrael that'll go do a Ma'aser Shabbos. They'll do it a second time. By Yisrael, we're not choshed that they'll do a virus. One time he did it, the Mezeh, the Shagig, whatever it is, he did it. We're not choshed he's going to do it a second time. No, but any malacha. Any malacha, we're not choshed that Yisrael is going to do it a second time. That's why it's never B'chtei Sheyasu by Yisrael. Masha'ein came by a goy, but you tell it to a goy to do it for you and you're not doing anything. So people are makel. I'm not doing anything, the goy is doing it. So therefore he asked it by a goy B'chtei Sheyasu.
But that for only applies to the sheet of the Rambam. You know, if Rashi has a problem with you,
correct.
The Eliezer, it should make no difference between whether.
Correct. And the Chanami. This svara is more than the Rambam. The Rashi say a different svara. I don't remember offhand. But that's a din of B'chtei Sheyasu by a goy.
B'chtei Sheyasu means up until Machal ben Drusai or up until it's fully cooked.
Whatever you're gaining, fully cooked. No, fully cooked.
Because some people can eat a trunk like that.
No. Whatever you like, the way you like it.
The way you like it.
Yeah,
okay,
that's how long you have to wait.
Okay.
Whatever you want to gain of it, that's how long you have to wait.
Okay.
Now over here, we're machmir B'chtei Sheyasu even by Yisrael. Why? Because Shehiyah, the Achronim say, is an Isser Kal. It's a light Isser. You leave it on, so I'm not doing anything on Shabbos. I left it on before Shabbos. So therefore people may be makel, and therefore they ask B'chtei Sheyasu by Shehiyah. Even though by Yisrael we don't find, that's why Yisrael does a malacha on Shabbos itself. But if he does it before Shabbos, then he'll come to be makel. He's not doing anything so bad. Everything he did was before Shabbos. So that's why we have such a musig, such a concept of B'chtei Sheyasu over here, even by Yisrael. So this is all by Ava V'Shah and Shokach V'Shah. You have to have B'chtei Sheyasu. If you look in the truth is, the Ramah says B'chtei Sheyasu only on the Ava V'Shah. On the Shokach V'Shah it doesn't say it. And the Mishnah Berurah brings down a machlokes over here. Mishnah Berurah says, if you look at Sifkot Lamed Beis in the Mishnah Berurah, he says, from Shokach V'Shah, you have to wait the Motzei Shabbos. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sifkot Lamed Beis, Bagos Hashim Mevoyer the Gam Bekan Hu B'chtei Sheyasu. Even by Shokach V'Shah, you have to wait B'chtei Sheyasu. K'moi B'Ovar V'Shah, just like Ovar V'Shah, you have to wait B'chtei Sheyasu. From the Lashon Rambam is not mashma that way. The Mechaber is quoting the Lashon Rambam. The Rambam is not mashma that by shokach v'shah you have to wear b'chtei shviasa. The Meister of the Mishnah Paskins, even by shokach v'shah you have to wear b'chtei shviasa. He brings down the machlokes, but he paskins that you have to wear b'chtei shviasa by both. Let's see the Magen Avraham inside here. Sif Kart in Yud Aleph. Also at the Motzei Shabbos says the Magen Avraham, the Chos v'stam shma minah, the also lakoil. So till now we spoke about only till when is it also till Motzei Shabbos. We didn't speak about for who it's also. And when you come time to Melecha Shabbos, Ma'aser Shabbos, we'll see that there's a lot of different halachas for the person himself and for other people. Here we're saying that this that we say is also at the Motzei Shabbos is midchos of stam shma minah also lakoil. Mashchos v'tor v'chem pirish b'dak Moshe u'masher kosev agos Mordechai to lachrini shari. The agos Mordechai writes no. For other people it's mutter. Lachrini for other people it's mutter. He holds like Remeya. It's a big machlokes Remeya and Rabbi Yehuda by Ma'aser Shabbos. Remeya holds the Ma'aser Shabbos for yourself. It's also to Motzei Shabbos. For Achrini, for other people, it's mutter right away. Rabbi Yehuda holds not the way. Rabbi Yehuda holds for everybody, it's also to Motzei Shabbos. So machlokes we'll see in Semicha Yud Ches. When she calls it the Semicha Yud Ches. Im kain hu adin hachanami aval nan. Skip the word. The kaimal and Rabbi Yehuda. We are passing like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds that by a shoygig, it's also for everybody till Motzei Shabbos. For Shkos of Shemish in Yedches. Im kain hu adin hachanami also lakoil. It's also for everybody. Ul b'nei beisai says the Magen Avraham. For the people in your house, pshita the aser. The Havalei Commission is partial b'shviloi. So even according to the mayor who holds la'achrini it's mutter, but for the b'nei bayis, the people in the house, it's aser because that's called like for yourself. V'ayin b'yardei simitari tesif hey. All those who are part of the Isavhetzachabura remember that in simitari tes sif hey spoke about if someone is mavatal isel lechatchila. It's also for himself, but it's mutal achrini. And then they speak out, himself means him and all his b'nei bayis. So that's what the Magen Avraham means over here. V'ayim b'yardei simet hadei sif hey, v'ayim bach, says simet hadei of gimel, v'sif tezvav, v'ayim simet tavkuf tezvav. In all these places you find that achrini means other people. B'nei bayis is considered yourself and it's considered la'atzmai. So even according to the Mayor is going to matal achrini, but the b'nei bayis is going to aser, and most cases of Ma'aser Shabbos are for b'nei bayis. Even if you have guests, maybe consider b'nei bayis. Achrini means somebody the food was not made for them, but if somebody the food was made for them, that's called la'atzmai. Fine. Says the Ramah weiter. If a guy put it back on the fire, now we just changed. Till now we're talking about Shiur. All of a sudden now there are more changes. Now we're talking about Chazara. So the reason why we didn't speak about Shiur by a guy, how would a guy does Shiur? All the Ramah speaks about it. And if a guy did Shiur Erev Shabbos, what's the halach about that?
On his own?
Well, if you can do it.
No, in the case where you're not allowed to do it.
But he did by himself?
Yeah, you have a guy working in your house and you put a pot on the stove before Shabbos.
For his benefit.
And he left it, no, for your benefit.
It's like shogeg.
It's like shogeg.
It's okay.
And it's also.
It's okay, no, it's okay.
It's like shogeg, it's also. So why did the Ramah speak about it?
It's okay.
The Ramah didn't speak about a guy doing Shiur. The Ramah speaks about Chazara. Now it brings in a guy. What happened to a guy being a guy Shiur? The answer is that Shiur is not totally in who put it on the fire. This is all I speak out. Shiur, if you have a pot on the stove, Erev Shabbos,
doesn't matter who brought it.
Doesn't make a difference who put it on. If you leave it there, it's your Isser. We don't care who put the pot on the stove Erev Shabbos. So if you didn't know about it, you're a shaygig. And if you knew about it, you're amazed. Doesn't make a difference if the guy put it there. So by Shehiyah, we'll never find halacha about a guy. Because it doesn't make a difference who put it there.
Did on his own.
Doesn't make a difference. If you knew about it,
but you don't know. He's selling.
If you don't know, then you're shaygig. If you don't know, then you're shaygig. That's a regular halacha of shaygig. If you know about it, then you're amazing.
So you told him.
Even if the guy did it, and then you see it on the fire Erev Shabbos, Shehiyah is not a din putting the pot on the fire Erev Shabbos. Shehiyah is a din leaving it on the fire when Shabbos comes in. So we don't care if it's a guy, if it's a Yisrael, it makes no difference. By Chazorah, it's something else. When a guy takes up a pot on Shabbos and he puts it back, that's already a whole different din. So it says the Mova, Mechzidam Aker b'Shabbos, if a guy puts it back on the fire on Shabbos, Dinai K'shokach v'Shiyah. It's as if the same halachas as Shokach v'Shiyah, meaning that Mitztamik v'Yafaloi is mutter. Says the Mogen Avram Yud Gimel, Dinai K'shokach, the loy nena memena kol kach, you don't have so much hana, kivin shkvar hayiroyu lechol. Since it was royal to eat it, ayin simin reish ayin vov. Now what happened over here? The guy did a ma'isa on Shabbos, Chziram b'Shabbos, and now what's happening? It's a Shabbos. It's not v'yafaloi, you're being nana from it. Still it's mutter. Why is it mutter? Because you're not nana men kol kach. It says ayin simin reish ayin vov. It's simin reish ayin vov. It speaks about. If you look at anytime you don't know Pshat and Mogen Avram, you look at the Machzas HaShekel. The Machzas HaShekel goes through every Mogen Avram. It's impossible to learn most of the Mogen Avrams without the Machzas HaShekel. So the Machzas HaShekel explains Ayin Simin Reish Ayin Vav. He says, if you look at the Machzas HaShekel, he says what the case over there is where you have a light in your house, a light on, and the guy comes in and he adds another light, and now it's better. Now you can see more. The halacha is, it's mutter. If you were able to see without the guy putting on an extra light, and now the guy added a second light, it's mutter. It's why? Because you're not nana kol kach from the ma'isa of the guy. So the only time ma'isa akum is osir for Yisrael on Shabbos is if you have a big hana. A small hana is mutter. If you look in the Machzas HaShekel, it says Sif Katan Yud Gimel, the Mogen Avram. Ayin Tzav Sim Reish Ayin Vav Mevuy Shav Im Hoyen Ner Beis Yisrael Ba Agoy V'Hidlik Oid Ner Achar Mutter L'Shtamish La'or Sh'Hidlik Agoy Kol Zman She'Ner Harishayin Doilik. Why the Avali Ner Sh'Hidlik Goy Hayachal L'Shtamish La'or Ner Harishayin. Even without the first the Ner of the Goy, the light that the Goy added on, we could have been Mishtamish with the first one. So therefore, since it's not so much Hana, it's mutter on Shabbos. That's this halacha. Goy goes ahead and does chazara on Shabbos, even though it's mistamik v'yafaloi, it's mutter. Because it's not kol kachana. That's by a goy. The Mechzidim Yisrael, so Yisrael puts it back on the fire on Shabbos, and I want to give Akdom over here. The whole din of Yisrael putting it back on the fire on Shabbos is only when he was over on Tnoi Chazar. We'll see in Sif Beis exactly what it means. He puts it down, he doesn't have a mind. But if there's any chashash bishul, it's awesome. So if Yisrael takes it off on Shabbos, if it's mistamik v'yafaloi, if it's not a special kol tzorchai, and he puts it back on the fire on Shabbos, that's regular ma'aseh Shabbos. That's also to use it no matter what, because the Yisrael cooked on Shabbos. We're not talking about that over here. If the Yisrael cooked it on Shabbos, he took it off the fire and he put it back on, it's also. Maybe also the Olam even. It's an Issa D'Oraisa. We're not talking about that here. Here we're talking about he was Machzir b'Shabbos, but in a way where there's no Issa D'Oraisa. Only an Issa D'Rabbanan of Chazara. If Yisrael put it back on Shabbos, even though he was a Shoygig, he did it by mistake, the halacha is it's like Ovar V'Shia, meaning if it's Mistamik V'Yafaloi, it's awesome. And here he speaks out from Mistamik V'Raloi, Mutter, Sharei Loi Nena Men Eser. Here already have to come to Mistamik V'Raloi. Because here, Chazara is also even Mistamik V'Raloi. If you take something off the fire, and it's not Gara for Kotim, or you put it down, whatever issues you have with Chazara, and you over and you put it back on the fire, even if it's Mistamik V'Raloi, you can't put it back down. But it's still mutter. because you're not being nana from it. There's no hana from it. Because it's a stomach virology. You put it back in the fire, there's no hana. So that's why it's mutter.
Stomach virology doesn't mean that everyone has to think it's bad, or
not for you. Stomach virology is for you.
But let's say there's certain people that like it burn.
Yeah, but it depends on the balabais. Depends on the owner. Depends on the owner.
Let's say the balabais likes it burnt, if people don't like it burnt.
So for him, it's his thing. His mitzvah for Yafalai.
For him, it's also for other people. It's much of them.
No, he did a nissa. He did a nissa. Totally in him.
That food though, is it also for those people?
Yeah, he did a nissa. No, if it's time for Alloy, I'm not sure. That's a good question. If it's time for Alloy, so for him it's not being nana, but other people are being nana, or maybe also for other people also. Because for them, it's they have enjoyment from it.
No, it's
the opposite. Enjoyment, they don't.
Oh, he has enjoyment, they don't.
Yeah.
So for them, it's mutter maybe.
Mutter, yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure. You have to know if a person was over an itzah for himself, but you're not being nana from it, it could be it's mutter.
If you go to somebody and food is burned, you never enjoy it.
Some people enjoy burnt food.
No, basically it could be beito anyway.
Yeah, but the question if there's an itzah, if it's
but still, I mean, because otherwise there's the en la davar sof. You could also be the abba mishah or shachach. I mean, if it's b'nei beito or not, depending on how people like it, if it's mitzvah barado or not, or betovla or not.
I mean, you're doing it for b'nei beisai, and you're putting it back on the fire. You're automatically including anybody in the house. Anyway, if some people in the house like it well done, then it's called mistamach b'yafalei. Yeah, maybe he's right. I don't know. This you have to ask a rabbi. I'm not sure.
Ask yourself.
This I'm not sure. If you put it on the fire, and for some people it's mistamach b'yafalei, some people it's mistamach b'raloi, and we said before that b'nei beisai is like yourself. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe that's called you being nana from it. I don't know. So if it's Echzira Mishal b'Shabbos, if Mishal put it back on Shabbos, has a din like over V'Shia, and Mitztamik v'Yafalei is also. Only Mitztamik v'Ralei is mutter. Why? Because he had no gain from the Ma'aser Shabbos. Now it's important to speak out over here. It means he had no gain. Mitztamik v'Ralei had no gain. How about if the food was cold? The food was cold and you warmed it up.
That should be the biggest hanot.
So it could be Mitztamik v'Ralei. But it was cold and you made it hot. There,
further we said, not such a, it's like a light. It would be like you had no light.
It would be like no light. It'll be also. No, but that's by Goy. Here to my Yisrael.
Okay.
Here to my Yisrael. If it's cold and you warm it up, it'll also be also. If the food, you take the food off the fire and you put it down on the table, so now it's also to put it back on the fire on Shabbos. Or on the black, whatever it is on Shabbos. And the food cooled down, and you put it back on anyway, you over on Chazara. The halacha is that there will be also. Because even though
what the level of, if it's stomach for Yafel or stomach for
doesn't make a difference. Even if it was stomach for Raldoy, but the heating up the food itself is anah. Just the fact that heating it up.
So just to be clear on Chazara, if you put something back, it doesn't matter whether it can get the absolute square or not. It's awesome.
No, it has to be absolute way.
Oh, so then.
So it could be absolute way. You put it back, it's absolute way. The oven's on, it's covered with a blech.
Okay.
So you put it back on, it's going to get the absolute, and it's going to get hot. So you're being nana from it.
From the hot plate, never get hot.
It could get hot.
Yeah. From the hot plate,
get hot.
Sure.
Put cold food in it gets hot. I'm pretty sure that Spiro speaks this out. Okay, maybe not. I don't know if Spiro speaks it out. I think I remember until David for sure speaks it out. I'm not sure if Spiro speaks this out. Anytime you're having a no from Chazara, it's also. Even though it's Mastamik V'Raloi, but if you take cold food and you heat it up, it's also. I'm sure Mr. Brewer is not speaking out. But that's what come out. Anytime you nano, it's also. It's Mastamik V'Raloi, you're not having any ano. But if it's cold and you're warming it up, it'll be also. Says the Magen Avraham, Sivkan Yodal, Techzina Mishal B'Shabbos, Afilu B'Shaygig, Dina Ikaber B'Shah. For Aser B'Mitztamik V'Yafaloi, and it's Aser B'Mitztamik V'Yafaloi. This is a very common child, by the way. People sometimes forget, and they take the oven's on. The oven is on, So that's not gar v'kotum. Like I spoke last week. If your oven is on, it's not gar v'kotum. The husband goes to shul, and one of the kids want to eat something, so it's a common thing. So make a mistake, they take out the food from the oven, take out a piece of chicken, give it to the child, and they put it back in the oven. You put it back in the oven, you worry about chazara, because it's not gar v'kotum. And it's stomach v'yafaloi. The food is also. You're not allowed to eat the food on Shabbos. Someone made that mistake, it's also to eat it, even a shaygig. That means the person who did it didn't know it's also. You come home and you're schmoozing and you find out that the person by mistake took it out and put it back into the oven on Shabbos. That's called chazara b'shaygig and mistamach v'yafaloi. If it's mistamach v'raloi, fine, it's mutter. But if it's mistamach v'yafaloi, it's also.
So what about these ovens that have the timers on top with the lights and everything to show you when it's on, when it's off? And you put it back in when it's off?
Probably not.
Really?
Interesting question. The oven that goes on and off. So when it's off, it's gar v'kotum. The oven's off.
But it's, you know it's going to be coming on.
Yeah. So that's I don't think it's called gar v'kotum. Even though they put it in when it's off, I don't think it's called gar v'kotum.
Gar v'kotum means you take it away.
Yeah, if it's going on and off, I don't think it's called gar v'kotum.
Even if it flares up again, it's okay.
Yeah, but if you did a ma'aser that, it's going to keep it down. Here you did the ma'aser, it's going to keep it down. It happened to flare up again. This is not happened. It's going to go back on. It's set to go back on.
You don't call that a grama?
That's what it's called.
A grama for what? No, you're putting it back in the oven. It's not gar v'kotum. You're putting it back in the oven. The oven is not called gar v'kotum. Forget about any other problems about if you're making the fire go on and off. I'm not even talking about that. Let's say that's mutter. But you want to know if I'm putting it into the oven when the oven happens to be off, is that called gar v'kotum? I would say not. I would say it's not called gar v'kotum. Because the oven's on and off. It's meant to keep a certain temperature. Now it happens to be that temperature, so it's off the fire. I wouldn't say it's called gar v'kotum. So we take it out of the oven, and you put it back in, even though the oven's off, it's probably this chazar.
Because on the moment you put it in, it will be probably go down with the temperature, so it might start it on the same spot that you're putting it in.
Yeah, if you know it didn't. You know, you see the light in the oven, that the light was off, it means the oven's off. You take out the chicken, and you put it back in as long as the light's off. I would say it's not called gar v'kotum.
If you open your fridge, eventually it's going to go on.
Yeah, that's talking about. That's grama. Let's say it's mutter. Let's say it's mutter. Fine. So here it says afilu b'shoygig. Even if it's a shoygig, dinoi ka'ovar v'shav also mistamach v'yafaloi. If it's mistamach v'yafaloi, it's awesome. The Baruch Mordechai mashma afilu b'shokach v'shav lesser mistamach v'yafal. The Baruch Mordechai says even by shokach v'shav he asks by mistamach v'yafal, which we don't pass in that way. We hold that by shokach v'shav mistamach v'yafal is mutter. U'lechein pasuk Ramah k'moisai v'hichzer b'Shabbos. When you put it back in on Shabbos, the Ramah is machmir like the Baruch Mordechai, but even mistamach v'yafal is also, even though it's a shogeg. When Meir says the Magen Avram nearly b'zeh the lacherim shari. Here you have a kul of the Magen Avram. Chazara on Shabbos, b'shogeg, he'll be making for acherim. Me'achet the bagos ashri, v'stapik im yesh le'esa afil loy, me'achet shay mevushel koidim ha'yishogeg. Since it was cooked and you are a shogeg, the Gos Ashri said maybe it's mutter even for him, but mistamach v'yafaloi. Says the Magen Avram, I'll be making for acherim by a shogeg, by mistamach v'yafaloi. So here comes the big question: what's called acherim? If we're going to say that b'nei beisai is not called acherim, b'nei beisai is called for yourself. So the story with the chicken, you can't eat it, but you give it to your neighbor to eat. I go swap chickens with your neighbor, maybe.
What's the Spiro for saying that for acherim?
It's mutter because you didn't do it for them. Only the person who did it for is it also. For someone else who didn't do it for, we're not machmir. Fine, so to make a quick sikkum what we had over here in this remote, a lot of pratim. So someone did a shehiyah by mistake on the oven. Shabbos shokach v'shah. The halacha is mistamach v'yafaloi is mutter for him, for acherim, for everybody. If it's machal ben deresoi, not as pasuk called tzorchoi, it's also for him, for acherim, it's also for everybody by a shogeg. By Ovar v'shah, If you left it on, then the halacha is, if you did it bedafka, it's aser by mistamach v'yafaloi. Even mistamach v'yafaloi, we're going to say it's aser. Mistamach v'rala is negeya because mistamach v'rala is mutter. A guy who did chazara on Shabbos has a din like shokach v'shah, even though he did it for Yisrael. Oh, we skipped the Magen Avraham. Yud Beis, Echzirim Akim L'Tzoyrich Yisrael. We skipped that Magen Avraham. Very important Magen Avraham. A guy returned it for Yisrael. If he didn't do it for Yisrael, did it for himself, anyway it's mutter. The Maisa Akim was only also on Shabbos if he did it for Yisrael. If he did it for himself, then it's mutter for Yisrael to be nana from it. So a guy put it back on Shabbos for Yisrael. Hechzir a guy on Shabbos for Yisrael. Allah is as a din shokach v'shah and mistamach v'yafala is mutter. Why? Because you're not being nana kol kach. But Yisrael who's makzor on Shabbos, anytime it does chazara on Shabbos, it has a din like ovar v'shah. Even if it did it b'shogeg, it has a din like ovar v'shah. And therefore the halacha is that it's aser for him and for the bnei bayis. The Magen Avraham is mekel for bnei bayis because he's a shogeg.
Israel can take the food which you go put in the oven for himself.
Israel,
the Jew can taste the food.
Yeah, unless he's cooking it. Bishlakam.
No, he worked for you, so it's all kosher perfectly. But he did for himself.
Yes, if you have a guy in your house and he warmed up food for himself,
your food, like you have
your food for himself, he did it for himself. Yisrael is allowed to eat it afterwards. He did it for himself. If a guy turns on a light in your house for himself, you're allowed to use the light. So only if it does it for Yisrael.
Yeah, so he can take my chicken, whatever, he can eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your chicken, but
he could warm it up, and if he has leftovers, you want to eat it, you're allowed to eat it. Fine.
But again, to clarify, by Shehiyah, that doesn't apply.
What do you mean?
If a goy puts it for himself before Shabbos,
doesn't make a difference. Oh, what do you mean? He puts it up one time. Guy puts it for himself, and he's leaving it there
for himself.
For himself.
No,
by Shehiyah, it's not telling you.
It doesn't matter if we put it there.
No. All I said was that if it's my pot, I don't care. Put it there. A guy could have put my pot on the fire. Doesn't make a difference. I'm going to take it off. But let's say a guy has his own thing in my house, and he put his pot on the fire. Erev Shabbos. There's no chi for me to take it off. It's his food. It's his food.
But then are you allowed to eat from his food?
Then you're allowed to eat from it.
You benefit.
Yeah, you're allowed because there's no issur.
Over, he offer you food.
Yeah, there's no issur. There is no issur. If the guy is doing it for himself, there's no issur. Unless you're going to say, which I don't think we say that. Remember vaguely something about it. That even a guy's pot in my house I have to take off because Shami Yechata. I may be Mechated. I don't think so. Let's assume that a guy has his pot in my house and has his own stove, let's say, and I don't go near it, then there's no issur. Then there's no issur. He's doing it for himself.
But your stove, he cannot use it for his food.
I don't remember. I remember something vaguely about it. That if a guy puts his pot on my stove, if I'm going to take it off because I may come be mechated for him,
you have to check it leftover.
You have to check it out.
You might turn the knob.
No, you do nothing. The boy says I have a leftover.
So if you have it there, you might do it. That's the question.
I don't remember. I don't remember the lock is over there. I would say that a guy who's doing it for himself, there's no issur b'chlal. He's putting the guy. What I said before was the guy who put your pot on the fire Erev Shabbos for you. Then it's not called like a guy did it. You have a chiyuv to take it off. But if a guy put his own pot, I would say that there's no issur Shami Yechata.
And the Magen Avraham's kula by acheri,
right,
for shachach v'chazar in Semicha v'yafilo. That yachid, or do other?
That's what we pass. That's what we pass. As it's not shachar, we pass in that way. The Shiur brings it down also. That by shogeg mistamach v'yafilo b'mutar for acherim.
And the difference between shachach v'shaha.
Shachach v'shaha is mutar even for you.
Right, but if it wasn't mevushal kol tzorko, then it's
also Shabbos.
Right, because it's a ma'aseh Shabbos. But
where by chazara or shia?
By shachach v'shaha.
Shachach v'shaha is also right for everybody.
Because it's a ma'aseh Shabbos.
So ma'aseh Shabbos is a dirabana. But if you do chazara by it's partial kol tzorko, that's a deraisa. That's a bishul. Anything you put a pot back onto the fire on Shabbos, it's a bishul. It's not a special kol tzarchai. We're talking about the whole time that's a special kol tzarchai by Chazara. By Shehiyah, with Tanis Bashal called Tzarcha, it's only Isser D'Rabbanan. And they were not going to be Mekel. Shehiyah, Shokach V'Shah, it's Kamacha Ben D'Risoi, it's also for you and for everybody. The only time a Mekel for other people is by Shokach V'Chazar, a Shoigig, and it's Mistamach V'Yafalon.
Right, but what we see from the Magen Avram is that Shachach V'Shaha, when it's not Mevushal called Tzorka, is actually worse than Shachach V'Chazar in Mevushal called Tzorka meets Mistamach V'Yafalon. Correct,
100%. 100%, yes. Mistamach V'Yafalon is much more Chal than the special called Tzorka. Fine, let's see right to the Ramah, the Mechaber. So we'll go for quickly. Mechaber Surah last week. Yesh Oimrim Shekosher Espashal Gamach Ben Deresoi, Yesh Espashal Kol Tzorka Mistamach V'Yafalon Mutla Shoisoi, Agabe Kira, Hagoy, Aful Agabe Taner, Aful Hutzim B'Keves V'Eitzim. This is Chananya Shita. Aful Eine Group of Tumul Hiskura, Group of Tumul Hesem B'Kat V'Gava, Alach Shitskul Espashal is Gil Machal Tzorka. V'Chal Inyan, Elot Nagdeme Aleha, Ubalach Zira, Aleha B'Shabbos. Now, this is all Chananya. Till now, the Shokach V'Shah and Ava V'Shah, the first part we spoke about according to the Rabbanon. In Chananya, everything changes. Right? Now, when Shokach V'Shia, if someone was Shokach V'Shia in Chananya, Tav Shosh Hitzchel is Basha V'Lo Yigil Malcha Ben Deresoi, the halacha is Aser. Ve'en Tzarech Lemin Ava V'Shia. In Chananya, we just made it much easier, the whole halacha of Shokach V'Shia and Ava V'Shia. And Chazara. Right? This whole thing doesn't apply really. Because according to the Rabbanon, it's also even when it's Tamach V'Yafaloi, so we made a chilik between Shokach and Avar. But according to Chananya, where anyway it's mutter to be shoya Kamacha Ben Deresoi, so the only question is, less than Macha Ben Deresoi.
Even according to the Rif, isn't he Mekel that even if it's not Macha Ben Deresoi?
For what?
By Chananya?
No, not Macha Ben Deresoi, no.
Bishul below Bishul, isn't it almost impossible to get to that case?
Well, if you hold the first starts after Macha Ben Deresoi, yeah, we don't go with that. Yeah, we don't go with that. The Shita holds the whole Chananya starts after Macha Ben Deresoi, because the whole Isser is only the Chai goes till Macha Ben Deresoi, right? That's what you mean?
Yeah.
Chai goes till Macha Ben Deresoi, but we don't go with that. Because if Chai goes to Macha Ben Deresoi, the Chananya doesn't make any sense. There's no time that it's also.
Right.
So according to Chananya, there's no code to Shokach V'Shah, Ava V'Shah, it makes no difference. Because you're always being nana, you're always having enough from it. Because the only time it's also is when, from this Bishul V'Lai Bishul till Macha Ben Deresoi, you're always being nana. Shokach V'Shah and Ava V'Shah is the same halacha, that the halacha is, it's also. Because you're always having enough from it. So it's very simple according to Chananya. Chazara.
Usher, what does it mean? Usher
to use it. l-liyu, l-acherim. The same thing we said before, by Shokach V'Shah, with lo special called Tzarchai, it's also for everybody.
So again, Kadesh Yasu.
Kadesh Yasu, yeah.
Also Kadesh Yasu.
Also Kadesh Yasu. We pass with Kadesh Yasu by Shokach V'Shah also. Even though Lashon Rama was Damashma that way, so we go that Shokach V'Shah and Ava V'Shah, both of them are Kadesh Yasu. Fine, hope that's clear. A lot of different halachas, a lot of different pratim.
Chananya again. Chananya would hold, it's less Macha Ben Deresoi.
Yeah. Someone was, whether it's shokach or over, makes no difference. The only chiluk to shokach and over is when it's cooked, and you're not being nana so much. So that's only in the Rabbanon. According to Chananya, you'll never have that.
But in the Rabbanon, we also said that it would still include the chai.
What do you mean chai?
No, not just Mistamach V'Yafaloi, or anything that's cooked.
Chai is mutter anyway.
So that can be mutter. So you're saying anything, right? So they only have that.
Yeah. Chai is anyway mutter. According to Chananya, the only time you can be over on Shehiyah is if you're being nana. According to Chananya, the only time it's possible to be over on Shehiyah is a case when you're having a lot of anah. Because bashal, v'lei bashal is the only time that you can be over on Shehiyah. And in that case, it's not chiluk between shokach and ava. And therefore, it's always aser. Lo ul-acherim, like the Magen Avram says, Sifkan in Aleph, it's also lo ul-acherim, and it's also ad b'chdei sheyasu, because we paskin that Even though the Rambam is mashma shokach v'shoy, you don't have to wait b'chtei shiyasu. We hold you have to wait b'chtei shiyasu even by shokach v'shoy.
But then Johnny's question is very good according to Chananya. B'chtei shiyasu is until it's machal ben drusai. According to Chananya.
According to Chananya, it's an interesting question. Because according to Chananya, after machal ben drusai, it's mutter. But how about if I left something on the fire be'isser? Right? I left it on be'isser. So it takes. I left it left on machal ben drusai.
Okay.
According to Chananya, I left it. It's an interesting question. I put something on the fire erev Shabbos. It's left on machal ben drusai. So it take 20 minutes for it to get to machal ben drusai. But I enjoy it fully cooked. So I enjoy it after 2 hours, after an hour, let's say. So do I have to wait b'chtei shiyasu till 20 minutes? Because that's when the issue was. But after machal ben drusai, it's mutter. Or no, once it did it b'isser, it's also
right. Why would you say? I mean, if there's a heter already for everybody. We don't say that you.
No, I did it Ma'aser Shabbos. No, I did it. What are you saying?
You can't say that. Oh, I don't. Since let's say for example, Michael Ben Drusai, right? According to Chananya.
Yeah, so 20 minutes
would be mutter, right? But you think I don't eat food like that.
Right.
Therefore, what? We're going to say that there's no heter to do shehiyah for at that stage?
No, it is mutter.
It is mutter.
But yeah, but
so then the reverse should be true.
No, but the din b'chtei shiyasu. What's b'chtei shiyasu mean?
It's just that just basically says that you shouldn't do it again next time. So you have a knas.
So you've been nana for Ma'aser Shabbos. I've been nana for Ma'aser Shabbos. So if I left it on the oven when it's machal ben drusai already, there's no Ma'aser Shabbos. I put it on the oven before machal ben drusai. So there's Ma'aser Shabbos. Now you want to say what? My hana is only up to machal ben drusai, and after that it's not called hana. It's called hana. Chananya holds no shashem yechata after machal ben drusai. But if you put a food into the oven erev Shabbos that's not machal ben drusai, it's going to take 20 minutes to get to machal ben drusai.
And you like 40 minutes?
Motzei Shabbos. You want to say, you have to wait 20 minutes?
10 minutes? To my taste.
I would say that.
Nothing wrong with
Vote. Go for vote.
And I would say, I'm not saying I'm right.
Go for vote.
That's an interesting question. You put something on the fire, erev Shabbos, machal ben drusai. It's not machal ben drusai. It takes 20 minutes to get to machal ben drusai. But your hana from this tafshil is much more than 20 minutes.
But you're saying that Kadesh Yasu is now going to be a personal, you're going to give nice.
The level of hana.
The level, no, yeah. Let's even say most people. Let's even say most people. Let's even say most people, right? Okay, let's say not me. Let's say most people don't eat it until it's special called tzarchai. Right? Let's say most people don't wait. If you take something and you cook it on Shabbos, I was even in Bishul on Shabbos. Or Goy was even in Bishul. They have to have much Shabbos of Kadesh Yasu. What's Kadesh Yasu? Ma'aser ben drusai or special called tzarchai? Special is called tzarchai. Motzei Shabbos. Here you want to say, what do you mean? But after ma'aser ben drusai, I'm allowed to leave it on the fire. So this my issue was only 20 minutes. You could look at it that way. You could look at it a different way. You could say it's 20 minutes before Shabbos. You cannot leave this on the fire. It's awesome because it's not 20 minutes. It's right before Shabbos, and it's going to take 20 minutes to get to ma'aser ben drusai. So you're not allowed to leave it on the fire. You leave it on the fire. What's your hana that I cooked on Shabbos? More than 20 minutes. Your hana is till the special called tzarchai. So your hana that you gained was an hour. I don't know. Think about it. Interesting question. Okay, let's move on. B'chol zeh be'inyin shehaya shehiyah she'akadenu yeshevet al kisei shabazel or al gabi avonim ve'en megas b'cholim. So here's a shittas ha-mechaber, which is far that we're going to have to deal with, and maybe we'll deal with it later on. The mechaber has a very, very big chumrah in hatmana. Hatmana we'll get to later on, but hatmana usually means you take a pot and you cover it with things you matman it. You cover it. That's a much bigger isurim than leaving it on a fire on Shabbos. Ashkenazim hold that if you leave something on a fire on Shabbos, that's nothing to do with hatmana. It's not covered on the sides. The Mechaber says, If you leave something on a fire on Shabbos, directly on the fire, that's called hatmana, and it's also no matter what. Hatmana, there's no heter of Michael ben there's no heter of Islamic virala even. Hatmana is also. And we'll see when we get to the sugya of hatmana. So the Mechaber holds the only time it's mutter to keep something on a fire on Shabbos is if it's on a tripod. You have the pot sitting on that, not directly on the fire, it's above the fire. Then it has been shiur. But once you put it on the fire directly, that's called hatmana. And it's also no matter what. It says the Mechaber, V'chol zeh b'inyin shehiyah she'kedeira yisheves akisei shel barzel or al gabi avonim v'einoi negat b'gecholim. It's not touching the gecholim. Aval hatmana al gabi gecholim and divrei hakoil aser. Hatmana means you put it on top of the gecholim. According to everybody, it's aser, no matter what. Chananya, Rabbanan, it's called hatmana. By hatmana, there's no chalukim, it's aser no matter what. That's the Mechaber Shita. The Ramah says, Haga v'yesh oimrim, ta'filu im ha'kedera, medes v'gabi eish mamish, kol zman shehi megula l'mayla, loy mikri hatmana v'shari, v'chein haminev. So the Ramah argues, and the Ramah says, hatmana is only if it's covered. If it's lying directly on the fire, it's not called hatmana. The Sfaradim have to hold, it's on the fire directly, it's called hatmana, it's aser. What's going to be the heter? But today's belechs, according to the Sfaradim, we'll have to get to, if there's a heter. We'll get to the simulation on test, I think it is. But it comes out according to the Sfaradim, you can't leave a pot on a blech. Anytime it's directly on the heat source, it's a problem of hatmana. So we'll keep all the Sfaradim in suspense.
Crock pots are big.
Crock pots, yeah. Crock pots are a big issue according to the Sfaradim.
Why isn't the blech like the basil? I mean, isn't...
No, because it's the heat itself. Anytime you leave it on the heat source itself,
the blech is in the divider?
No. The tripod is lifted above the fire. It's not on.
There's airspace between.
There's airspace between. Here's no airspace. Here's
even if there was a flame directly underneath, as long as there's airspace.
Yeah, as long as there's airspace, it's not called hatmana on the fire. But if you put something directly on a hot thing, that's called hatmana according to the Mechaber. We'll see when we get to Rishon Tess, there's a kula that if this thing itself is not the original heat source, it's getting heat from something else, then maybe a kula according to this Sfaradim.
What are we worried about? Are we worried about most of hevel, or are we worried about you're going to move the coals around?
No, so that's the question. What the Isha Atmana is? Isha Atmana is by most of hevel. Anything that's a most of hevel. Why? We'll see when we get to Atmana. But even though there's no coals, it's still Isha Atmana. You're not allowed to put something in the most of hevel, even though there's no coals. So according to the Sfaradim, you can't put something directly on the fire or directly on the coals. On a blech, we'll see later on what the heter is. So therefore says the Mechaber, this whole sieve that we said till now is only talking about in the case where it's not directly on the coals, it's lifted above the coals. Directly on the coals is Isha Atmana. Atmana is Aser B'chol Efanim. Every case Atmana is Aser. If you look in the Magen Avraham Sukkot Yedzayin Megula L'mayla, for the Mikri Hatmana Ela B'Davar HaMetaltol. Hatmana is only something that you can move. Shematbik. So here's different Yesoris in the Magen Avraham. We're going to go with the Vushay Shrod. He changes the gears here. El B'Davar HaMetaltol Shematbik Eitzel Doifnei HaKedera. You put something by the walls of the Kedera. Aval Tanner Sosam Lavat Manahi. If you take a pot and you put it into a closed oven, even though it's closed on all sides, that's not called Atmana. Because from the pot to the walls of the oven is airspace. That's not called Atmana. Atmana is only if you take something and you cover it and it's lying against the walls of the pot, against the Doifnei HaKedera. If it's not lying against the Doifnei HaKedera, it's not called Atmana. We'll see more about this when we get to Dini Atmana. Says the Magen Avraham, the more weiter, Rab, v'chein min reaction is harim, the natkoi k'tzas koydem HaShabbos, min ha'esh, k'dei sheyuchel Yisrael ha'ashira misham. The Magen Avraham is worried about something else. You're right, you're allowed to leave the pot on the fire, on the coals, and if Shabbos, if it's K'macha ben Nisar according to Chananya, but how do you take it off the coals? By taking it off the coals, you may end up moving around the coals, and that's a new problem.
That's not Atmana anymore. That's a different issue.
Yeah, not Atmana. That's a problem of what's called again, of Havara. when you move the coals, you're making them flare up again.
Right.
So there you're making a fire.
Right. Oh, you're
increasing the heat.
Even if it's a davar she'eino mikaven.
Oh, so that's what I'm getting to now. That's this Magen Avraham. You see, cutting your chest. So says the Magen Avraham, you have to be careful to take it out of the coals before Shabbos. Why? Because if it's like coals surrounding it a little bit, you move the coals, you're in trouble. So you have to remember not to get to loosen it from the coals before Shabbos. This way, on Shabbos, you can take it out. Now, how about if you didn't loosen it from the fire, and now you come Shabbos and you see it's on the fire, and if you take it out, you end up moving the coals. So what do? You could do it through a guy. A guy could do it. That means even though when the guy picks up the pot, he's going to end up stirring the coals, and he's going to make the fire hot again, still it's mutter, we'll see why in a second. There is no guy, mutter Yisrael asira misham, Yisrael could take it off, but only if you can take it out without moving the coals. Then, even if you move in a drop, it's ein mischaven, and ein mischaven is mutter. So before we see the Magen Avraham here, it's very important the Magen Avraham to see. What the Ramah is saying here basically is that if it's in the coals, and you're going to take it out, and when you take it out, you're automatically going to move the coals, that's awesome. Even though you're ein mischaven, the halacha is, if you're not mischaven, it's a psik ratio.
But the psik ratio, the nichel.
It's like nichel.
Why?
You don't want the fire to go back up, you don't need it.
You don't care about that.
You don't care. Whatever. You don't care about it.
Right.
To get into. But it's called the psik ratio. So now, if it's on the coals, and the end of the Ramah says, if it's possible to take it out without moving the coals, take it out slowly. If you happen to move the coals, it's ein mischaven. You didn't have a mind to move the coals. Ein mischaven is mutter on Shabbos. Ein mischaven is mutter. But if it's impossible to take it out without moving the coals, the only way I can take it out is by moving the coals, then Yisrael can't do it. Why? Because there's ein mischaven. You're right, you're not mechaven to move the coals, but the psik ratio. The psik ratio we know is awesome. A psik ratio is awesome. If it's
right, and the psik ratio, inevitable result.
Inevitable.
Yeah.
Psik ratio means inevitable. Psik ratio, the case of psik ratio is you want the head of a chicken and you're cutting off the head. It's impossible not to kill the chicken.
Right.
But psik ratio, cutting off his head, it's impossible not to kill it. So it's inevitable. It's automatically going to happen. So even though I'm not a mischaven, I don't have a mind to move the coals, but if it's a psik ratio, if the sure going to happen, it's also. So therefore the Ramah says, if we saw could take it off without for sure moving it, it's possible that he won't move it, he can take it off. Even though it ends up happening, it's ein mischaven. But if he can't, he's not allowed to. But a goy, his master is allowed to do it even if it's a psik ratio. That's what's master from the Ramah, because the Ramah says you should do it through a goy. If there's no goy, or you saw could do it if he doesn't move the coals. So the question is, what does the Ramah mean? Does the Ramah mean a goy could do it even though it's for sure moving the coals? Or does it say it's better to do it through a goy? Because it's very possible you're going to move the coals. If you can't find the goy, then you could do it because it's not for sure going to move the coals. But how bad could the goy do it if it's for sure going to move the coals? So we don't really see in the Ramah what he holds. It says better do it through a goy, if not a Yisrael could do it. So the Magen Avraham speaks about here. See if cutting your ches. We'll go through the whole thing inside. Mutter Yisrael asira b'dakim Moshe kosav v'ayin seif simin shinyan aleph b'beis Yosef the mutter l'salka ad kam l'shoynoi. Dakim Moshe sends you to a Beis Yosef in the end of simin shinyan aleph that says that it's mutter to take it off. V'zel l'shoynoi rab b'seis v'sham. This is the lashon of the Beis Yosef over there in shinyan aleph. Rambam kosav charora shal gabe gecholim. Now one thing we have to remember, the Mechaber holds that a pot on gecholim is atmona. Food on gecholim is not atmona. Food on gecholim, so that's why you're probably wondering, how could the Mechaber say you have a charora on gabe gecholim? You're not allowed to do that, it's atmona. No, the case of the Beisesim over there is talking about where it was food on the Cholim. That's not called Atmana.
So what's the translation of Harara?
Harara is like a cake, cookie. So Harara agabe Cholim. The Fiani is not said to be said. I feel like kavu mutter. Even if the flames weren't out of the coals mutter. Shemeachar she'ena tmuna. Since it's not tamun, it's not hidden in the coals. You're not going to stir the coals by taking out the Harara. Ela shemena'anan. You're moving them to have a total minatzad v'shari atkam l'shaynai. It's total minatzad, and therefore it's mutter. Says the Magen Avraham, v'imken hu adin, the same thing by kedera. By us, that we hold the kedera you're allowed to put on the coals. Dafki kshemedes al gabi v'cholim shari. Only when it's lying on top of the cholim it's mutter. V'zel shayna mordechai reish perikira, v'gam ha'yisrael atzmai, even ha'yisrael mutter, efshir shemutter la'asirai hayel, ve'ena min ha'nei ha'gecholim, ve'ena mischaven aleihem. Since it's possible that it won't move the gecholim, and there's no kavanah for it. Ve'ena mezizim emkaimam, you don't move the coals. At kal l'shaynai. But if the coals are lying around the kedera and it's impossible to take out the kedera without moving the coals, it's aser for Yisrael to take it out. Mishum, because you are stirring the top and you're lining up the top ones, and you're putting out the bottom ones. So we can say if it's within the coals, you now take it out, because then you are moving the coals to the psik ratio. So the Goy's Mordechai says, even to tell a Goy to take it out from the coals, you can't do it. Why? Because it's a psik ratio. Right? So the Goy's Mordechai says, a Goy is going to do a psik ratio.
Hold on. There's no din of Amir La'akum by psik
by psik ratio?
Yeah.
Who said?
Again, we have to argue.
Who said?
The whole din of
psik ratio only by Yisrael?
Yeah.
Who says?
I have to show this.
It's fine where it says that. That's what it says right here. The clothing of Amir La'akum is very scattered all over Hilchos Shabbos. It's not in one place you'll find halachas of Amir La'akum. It's brought up in different places. You have it here, you have it somewhere else, you have Magen Avraham here, you have a Mechaber here, and it's very hard to collect them all together. That's why whenever we come with Amir La'akum, any halachas of Amir La'akum, we're going to point it out. And even though we're not talking about Amir La'akum, we're talking about Shiur, we're talking about Tman over here, still we're going to point it out, because otherwise we're never going to know Amir La'akum. Amir La'akum is scattered all over the place. So here, the Magen Avraham says, from the Goy's Mordechai, that even Ayadei Akum, you're not allowed to do a psik ratio. Miyu, says the Magen Avraham, B'Hagah Perik Vav, Kasav, the Mutter Ayadei Akum. The Hagah Mordechai says, it is Mutter Ayadei Akum. Why? The Ein Anu Amalai Loi L'Chabois V'Loi L'Haver Rak L'Sala Kam ichel. All we're telling you is to take it out. Now you write a psik ratio to automatically stir the gecholim. A psik ratio by a guy is mutter. So here's your makar.
Thank you.
Here's the makar. It's a machlokes here. The Goy's Mordechai says that it's aser, and the Chalkim on the Goy's Mordechai they say it's mutter. Amir la'akim by a psik ratio says the Magen Avraham it's mutter. V'ayin soif simin zeh, which in the end of this siman, again it comes up, the Magen Avraham speaks out again, it comes up again that Amira la'akim by a psik ratio is mutter. As long as he's not mechaven, you don't want the guy to stir the coals, you want to take the pot. What's the problem? He's taking the pot, and automatically the coals are going to be stirred. It's mutter. According to the Magen Avraham, because the psik ratio by a guy is mutter. Amir la'akim by psik ratio is mutter. By Yisrael, Aser l'kuli alma. By Yisrael, it's Aser according to everybody. V'chein kaser b'sheres Yisrael b'ira Mordechai. V'chein kosa v'dakim Moshe b'shem Ogur, v'chein kosa Mordechai shal perikam v'de Shabbos, v'chein kosa v'seisef seisef mizeh b'shem Sefer Yireyim, v'chein mashma v'rashi, seif perik. The B'tkiyah Shlishis Solkvar Kederis, they blew 3 tkiyas, they blew 6 tkiyas. By the 3rd tkiyah, they would take the Kederis off the coals. Why? Because it would still be in the coals, you can't take it off on Shabbos. So it's being a riot that you have to be careful that even though it's mutter shehiyah, but you have to be careful that it shouldn't be in the coals. Mashmed Osir l'salkam b'Shabbos. It's also to take it off on Shabbos.
That would only be for a Jew.
Or Shabbos b'Shachris Osir l'salkam ki im al yedei akum. Shabbos in the morning it's also to take it off if you didn't do it Erev Shabbos, because you're going to stir the coals. Only through akum is mutter. V'ayin same simulation of test. V'ayin b'tayz yuma. V'ayin b'tayz simulation of dalsi base. These are different places where the Magen Avraham speaks about amir la'akim through a psik ratio. So even though we're talking about Shehiyah, Chazor over here.
It's not just the pin. I mean, he's learning the Gemara. So
He beats right from the Gemara.
Right. Well, how do you explain the Gemara?
Yeah, it's very much like this. The other places will argue, they explain it more differently.
And that diuk of ki im ella al yedei akum, maybe not everybody holds by that.
Correct.
In other words, also the
in
the Gemara, that diuk.
No, it's not a Gemara.
Right. That's his diuk. Right?
No, Shabbos Shachas also Salkam in the Akum is that goes Maimonides.
Right.
It's not the Gemara.
Right, it's based on the Gemara.
Yeah, he's based on the Gemara.
Right,
Yeah.
So that deal maybe not agrees with.
So kids, Amir al-Akum by Psik Reisha is this Magen Avraham speaks about it. So Machlokes, we hold like the Magen Avraham and Paskin that Amir al-Akum by Psik Reisha is mutter.